to the 79th episode of the New Ventures podcast. I'm your host, Sanjoy Sanyal, the founder of Regain Paradise, a boutique climate finance firm and a visiting fellow at the Cambridge Judge Business School. Along with my co-host, Professor Jaideep Prabhu, we try and understand the links between climate change and food security in these series of conversations.
Hi, I'm Jaideep Prabhu. I'm a professor of marketing at the Cambridge Judge Business School and a co-host of this podcast with Sanjoy. My area of interest is innovation, particularly frugal innovation, how to do more and better with less. And it is through that interest that I have become interested in food security and issues around climate change, adaptation, and innovation. Delighted to be joining all of you on this podcast.
Our guest for today is Abdur Rouf, Program Development Lead at Syngenta Foundation for Sustainable Agriculture, and he's coming to us from Dhaka, Bangladesh. Welcome, Abdur.
Thank you very much for inviting me in your podcast. I'm glad to talk with you, Sanjay, and the team.
Abdur, it's great to have you on the podcast. We'd love to learn more about the Syngenta Foundation for Sustainable Agriculture. What does the foundation do?
Syngenta Foundation for Sustainable Agriculture is a Swiss-based not-for-profit international development organization founded by Syngenta Ag back in 2001. So we are focusing on smallholder development. So our vision is a bright future for smallholder farming, meaning the agriculture will be the choice for the next generation's youth. Thus, we are working for the foundations.
What are some of the big projects or goals that you are pursuing in the foundation in Bangladesh?
In Bangladesh, Syngenta Foundation present since 2011, and we are focusing on crop agriculture and exclusively for smallholder farmers development. We started in our journey as a very small organization, only 5 staff and 2 projects in northern region of the Bangladesh. And now we have a 50 staffs, and each and every year we implement 6 to 9 projects. So our key program or projects is like, or if I can say, the area where we implement the project are the agri-business modeling and market system developments. Here's one of our flagship project is Farmers Hubs, which is a one-stop commercial service platforms for agri-entrepreneurs to create access to smallholder farmers in inputs, machines, the knowledge, and the finance. And beside this, we also have the agricultural insurance ecosystem development project. We have agri-water productivity project. We have agroecology, food and nutrition system development project. And recently, we are unlocking the carbon credit for the smallholder farmers. And one of our key project is agricultural digitalization. So we focus on there. So our peoples are also tech savvy, and we want to introduce the digital transformations of agriculture for our country.
Well, that's a lot of projects, and we'll talk about them in the podcast. But maybe before we do that, we should get to know you a little bit. I mean, we know you, me and Jaideep, but our audience should get to know you a little bit. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, certainly. It's always interesting to share a bit about my background. My journey in agriculture sector is somewhat unconventional, as I do not have a traditional agricultural education. Often when I meet high-ranked officials in the agricultural development or executives from the private sectors, they always ask me, are you agriculturist? My answer is humbly, no, I am not agriculturist by training, but I have decided myself to learning and continue to the agriculture. So, well, I hold my honors and master's degree in population science and human resource development from the University of Rajshahi. Its multidisciplinary education has given me a broad perspectives on interplay between people and resource, which is crucial in the field of agricultural development, I believe.
Very interesting. And then let's start on the projects that you talked about, and let's talk about Farmers Hub project, which is your flagship project, as you said. I've been reading some of the literature behind it. And one of the things that I learned is that in Bangladesh, people are moving away from agriculture to other occupations. You are trying to solve that through your Farmers Hub approach. But I'm wondering if moving away from agriculture to industry is actually a good thing.
That is very thoughtful and multi-phased questions. Let me address it from the two perspectives. Why people, particularly the youth, are moving away from the agriculture, and whether this shift is good or bad for the country. Firstly, why are people moving away from the agriculture? I am working here as a development worker, and I frequently visit the field. I often engage with the farmers, including young people, and hear their concern. Just recently, a young man named Russell, who come from affluent farming family, he reaching out me. By his interest in agriculture, he told me, "Hi, I need a job. I cannot go back to my village. It's a matter of my prestige for me. So please help me to search a job." This sentiment is not unique to the Russell and reflect the broader societal attitude. What I tried to say, my understanding, there are three main reasons why young people are turning away from the agriculture. First, the lack of prestige. Farming is not seen a prestigious career in our society. Many young people aspire to jobs in urban areas because they perceive it to be more respectable. Second thing is that profitability concern. Traditional farming often doesn't profitable or as profitable that can attract the educated youth. The financial rewards do not always match the hard work and the investment required. And third point is the labor intensity. Agriculture in physically demanding and labor intensive jobs. So with many other jobs options available that are less laborious maybe, that attract the young people. So these three things always hinder the reason behind not attracting the young generations in agriculture. They try to shift in the urban area and find out different type of jobs. Ironically, many young people move to urban areas like Dhaka to work in industries such as garments, where they might work extremely long hours for modest pay, openly earning around $100 to $200 per month. So it is quite poor. Yet, with this right support and modern practice, agriculture could potentially offer them twice or even thrice more income and significantly use the less time and effort. But the people are not or going there, or young people are not choosing that jobs. So this is the aspect why these peoples are shifting from agriculture to the industrial jobs, particularly the young people.
Abdur, one of the things I found interesting was the way that you have embedded entrepreneurship in the Farmers Hub concept. Can you describe how that works and how you have been motivating entrepreneurial activities?
What I was trying to say that the youth are not choosing agriculture as their professions. I explain the reasons. So here we try to come up with a solutions where a rural youth can choose entrepreneurship as their professions with mass respect, mass profitability, and mass better futures. The agriculture overall, the world are very particularly in Bangladesh, the smallholder farmers' problem are the same. They have the problem of quality inputs. They have the problem of machinery services. They have the problem of post-harvest handling services. They have the problem of knowledge of modern technology. And very specifically, they have a great problem on access to market or selling their product in best price. So what we try to do, we try to make all these services in a single point. That is called one-stop service platforms. That's one-stop service platform. We named it a Farmers Hubs. So Farmer Hub is a single point where the farmers can get multiple services. And a young youth can be the owner of this Farmers Hubs, and he can earn around $4,000 to $6,000 per year. So it ensures his profitability, and this amount is very good for a rural area. Any people who live in rural area and earning this amount, it is quite handsome. So thus we come up with the problem and come up with good solutions, integrated solutions.
So would you have many of these farmer hubs across the country? So one in every district, or how is that organized?
At this point in Bangladesh, we have 680 farmers hubs. However, this concept is built in Bangladesh, and we scale this model in other 7 countries in Asia, Africa. For Indonesia, they're copying this farmers hub business model. In Africa, Nigeria, Senegal, Mali, Kenya, Rwanda, Sudan, they also copied this model. So if I count the globally, we have around 2,000 farmers hubs. And for Bangladesh, we are focusing on west part of the country. It covers the Rangpur, Rajshahi, and Khulna division.
And is it a two-sided platform? So I can see on one side you have farmers who are getting services, but on the other side, do you have people who might be buying the produce from the farmers through the hub?
Yes, exactly. So the farmers hubs, they are selling the inputs, they are providing the rental services of machines. So the many cases, the smallholder farmers are unable to purchase the machine, right? So then these farmers hubs rent out these machines for the farmers. And they also provide the knowledge, what to do, what not to do at the field, so that they can grow the better crops. When the farmers grow their better crops, then the farmers have aggregated this product, meaning buy back this product, and then they sell it to their franchisee or network managers or the distance market who can export it or who can process it or who can trade it in better prices.
And all this is done on a mobile phone app? What's the platform?
Well, so it is the physical platform. So in Blaze, very close to the farming zone, there is the infrastructure of the farmers hubs. You see it identical for everywhere. And for managing the businesses of these farmers hubs, they use a mobile app called e-farmers hubs. So from here, they can get all information related to their business, meaning they enter the all transaction data, including the farmers' mobile numbers, what they purchase, what the sales, and everything. And thus, he also can connect with the buyers. So here is the marketplace as well in these apps. Through this marketplace, he can connect the buyers, particularly the network managers, who is the top of this. It's a franchisee system. So top of this farmers hubs, there is a network manager, so the master franchisee. So who can see the post of the selling post, or who can post the buying post. So from there it manages. And these apps also help to create that credit score to get access to the finance. So leveraging their data, farmers' data and business records, they can apply for loan to the bank. So this is a very comprehensive apps, which is very mobile, light, handy, and usable for the farmers.
This is very interesting, and I have 2 questions. One is, I like stories, and I really like the story of Russell that you gave, of who wanted to go away from farming. Tell us a story about, to help us understand these entrepreneurs. Who are they? Are they typically all male? How much do they have to invest? You've already started talking a little bit about how much they make. Maybe you can elaborate on that.
So I can bring one story of a underprivileged Chautal farming family. Name is Shom Tudu. That indigenous people in our community. He has only one cow, and he has one son, one daughter, and he is facing challenge to meet his livelihood through these cows. So he's mostly the daily labor. We explain them the opportunity of the farmers hub, how it works, how it's run, and he sold his cow and gathers his money to start a farmer's house. And within 1 year, he can start to serve not only the Shantal community, he start to serve the whole community with his supports is quality seedlings. So it's a vegetable seedling. So the story I bring it from the Dinajpur. Their vegetable farming zone is there. So there is a great demand of vegetable seedling. So he start to sell the vegetable seedlings. He start to rent out the small type of machines like weeders, small shallow engine machines. He rent out the small type of handy seedling transplanter. So this type of machine he rent out to their farmers, and he start to buy back the farm produces. And within 1.5 years, he come up with his break-even point, and now he start to reinvest his money to expand his nursery. Then he start to take lease land from the other farmer to grow more crops there. And now he is really affiliate of farmers, and he is the best example among this Shantal community. The sad part is that after a few years, he certainly died. And meanwhile, his son becomes 18 years plus, and he start to go to college. And when sadly his father died, he need to take care of his father's businesses. And now he is a very successful farmers of entrepreneurs. He take over his father's businesses, and he purchases pieces of land as well.
The son of this person, unlike Russell, is also college educated, but unlike Russell, he goes back and takes over his father's farming business, right? Now, that is so interesting. But let me just understand a few basics. His father sold a cow to start a business, right? So just help us understand how much that money he made, how much money did he initially invest?
For initial investment, as a typical farmers have need to invest 1 lakh to 5 lakhs Bangladeshi taka. As a indigenous peoples, and he has not that much enough money to invest in the business, he sold his cow around 50,000 BDT, and he takes some loans from his relatives or somewhere, and within 80,000 BDT, he started his businesses. And Syngenta Foundation support him with 40,000 BDT for starting his business. It is including the branding supports and others, small machineries and their pharmacy promises developments. And thus his business is started. And monthly nowadays, he earn more than 60,000 BDT per month.
This is fascinating. And I'm going to ask a question, and because I know Jaideep has done some work in it, in this area. Training of these entrepreneurs, or what we call micro-entrepreneurs, helping them build their skills. Forget helping them get loans. That's an even bigger problem. But helping them build their skills itself is not such an easy task, at least in many areas that we have seen. Is it the same in Bangladesh, or do you do something special, or is it that people in Bangladesh are entrepreneurial and they get it much easier?
Or do you have special mentoring for them?
Yes, you are absolutely right. Training is not the easy, and it is not very cheap even. Entrepreneurship's development is very much crucial, because without training, it is really very crucial. And we are working with the very rural youth. So rural youth, they are not very used to with these mobiles and other things, many cases, when they are not from this affluent family. So what we do from the foundation, so we try to make a system of entrepreneurship development course. So it is kind of accelerator programs. So 5-step process we have designed and developed to build an entrepreneur, starting from the selections of these entrepreneurs, then boot camp, then their business planning, then basic agronomic trainings, then the business management trainings, and then the market linkages. We have a very systematic process which we applied here that help us to grow these entrepreneurs, and we have a very specific SOP for operating these farmers hubs. So we provide this SOP to the farmers hub owners and these network managers, the master franchisee. So master franchisee regularly connect with these farmers hubs. If there is any lacks and gaps for this farmers hub, they take care of that part, and they also maintain the standard of their services, because it is a branded model and unique services providing to all farmers. So thus we try to overcome, but yes, I agree that it is not the easy task.
The master franchisees, are they also entrepreneurs? If they're entrepreneurs, they're better trained, bigger entrepreneurs. Tell us how that entire franchisee model works.
The master franchisee is another business entity that engaged with the farmers' hubs by supporting essential inputs such as seeds, machines, growing media, purchasing the aggregated products from the farmers. So it is a big entrepreneurs. So one master franchisee, we called it usually the network manager. So one network manager manages 50 to 2,000 network of the farmers' hubs. They have the very specific business relationship with these farmers. So the network managers provide the trainings and manage the quality of their product, and also create the market for these farmers hubs owners so that they can sell their product to the farmers. And when the farmers purchase some things from these farmers hubs, then it's also create the market for the network managers as well. So thus this ecosystem works. Again, it is another business entity.
You said there are 600 farmers hubs in the country, and one network operator manages anywhere from 50 to a few hundred farmers hubs. So how many farmers hubs are there? Maybe the best way to do this is to tell us a story about a network operator, like the way you told us a story which made the farmers hub come alive, if you may. If you can tell us a story about the entrepreneur behind a network operator.
At this point, we have 5 network managers, and another is coming. So it's 6 network managers right now in Bangladesh. So if I take an example of one network manager, for example, GBK Enterprise or ESDO or the Kishi Bazars or the Sheba Agrotech and Seed Company Limited. So according to their size, they are different size of the network managers. Some network managers have big capacity of investment. Some network managers have a limited capacity of investment. For example, of a network manager called Kishi Bazars, he's a young talent guy who is trying to see his futures in agriculture. But he has also the investment capacity on agriculture. So we show them this business model and show them his opportunity to invest in these businesses. And then we tag him with our existing few farmers hubs. Some cases, for example, the Sheba Agrotech Limited, they don't have any farmers hub, but we just show them their business model, and we show them that if you try to set up these farmers hubs in southern part of this country, you can earn this amount of revenue each and every years. And it will be your new venture, because Sheba Agrotech they have their different businesses. So they have seed businesses, they have consulting. So what Sheba did, invest in for seed, Sheba invest for sourcing the tray, what the farmers have actually requires. So from this investment, he tried to work with these foundations to select the agri-entrepreneurs like farmers hub owners. So he do some accelerator programs in that region and then set up 50 farmers hubs. These 50 farmers hubs regularly purchasing the different seeds and different raw materials from this Sheba, and then Sheba also aggregated, buy back the product of the farmer's house. One very specific example I can share with you for Sheba Agrotech Limited is that if I have know the name of the Kellogg's, right? So Kellogg is one of the giant company. They are sourcing the potato for the preparing the Pringles. They need the very specific industrial varieties potato. For sourcing that potato, maybe they need to work with 5,000 farmers, but it is not possible for them. So they link this company with the Sheba Agrotech Limited, or the Sheba have their link with this Kellogg's, and then they make a contract with this Kellogg's that they will provide this 3,000 metric ton of potato in these seasons. These network managers of the Sheba, they divided these 3,000 metric tons of potato in different farmers' hubs, and then build the capacity of this farmers' hub to manage this contract farming, and then they buy back this product, and then they send it to the Kellogg's factory. Different way these network managers build their businesses with these farmers' hubs.
Jaideep, this is exactly what you talk about, right? The market linkages between small and medium enterprises with larger corporations. I'm sure you have some questions on these corporate partnerships.
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to ask Abdur. Abdur, tell us more about this. So this Kellogg's example you gave was fascinating, but what other offerings or services do corporate partners provide? Do they, I think obviously seedlings, seeds, things like that, but you also mentioned earlier farm implements and tools. Explain to us how these partnerships work and what do the corporate partners bring to the table?
Corporate partnership play a vital role in accelerating this development and development of innovation agricultural solutions, right? Our cases, for example, so we are also promoting the crop insurance, right? So weather index-based crop insurance, we are the pioneer in Bangladesh. For this, providing this crop insurance, we need the private partners like insurance company who will provide this insurance. We have the linkage, or we have the partners with Green Dental Insurance Company, Sadharan Bima Insurance Company, which is government owned. And distributing this insurance, we need these others private partners or corporate partners like ASAP Group, Syngenta Corporate itself. So they are bringing this insurance to their farmers. So we have a partnership with them. So we onboard these partnerships. For machines, we have a partnership with ACI and the Metal Industries Limited. Metal, they are the machinery industries. They have different type of machineries. We work with them. As a not-for-profit organization, what is our role? Our role is to create a business case for the private or corporate partners and show them that it's worth. So invest here or bring this case and scale it up for your different locations where you are operating. So for particular services, we have more than one private partners to scale our solutions or our innovations to the farmers.
So sometimes the criticism of these multinational companies offering services to farmers is that they have monopoly power and they can use that bargaining power to keep the farmers captive. Is that a fair criticism here? I mean, do your corporate partners help reduce the costs for the farmer? Do they give them access to markets to increase their productivity? I'm curious to understand how these partnerships work for the farmer.
It has different angles. So one is that definitely you should make options for the farmers. If you say you are bound to do this or you are bound to purchase this particular company's product, that is really challenging. As a not-for-profit organizations and we're working for the betterment of the smallholder farmers, we try to create the options. When we are talking about the quality inputs, we bring different companies, not particularly one company. So we bring more than one companies where the farmers get their choice. For particular machines, we also bring more than one companies so that farmer can get their options. And they have their powers. When the farmers are in a situation of aggregating their product, they have also created their bargaining powers. As a single farmers with a limited product or produces, you have not any bargaining powers. But when a number of farmers product in a single place in farmers hubs, then the amount is big, so they have their bargaining powers. During this contract farming, more than 100 farmers is providing the particular type of product to the corporate partners. That time they have their bargaining powers. So farmers have plays a crucial role on behalf of the farmers and on behalf of his own entity to bargain with these big companies like corporate. Here we get a better positions for the farmers.
And a similar criticism, if it is possible to say that, could also be applied to you, right? Syngenta is a large company, and to what extent do you balance your non-profit interests with the interests of Syngenta Corporation?
Well, it's a very common question for me. So everyone asks the same question. So first of all, so Syngenta Foundation is a very independent company, independent development, not-for-profit organizations. So we don't have any business relationship with this Syngenta. And we are not getting any money from the Syngenta Bangladesh. Sourcing the money from the Basel office of Syngenta Foundations, they are providing us the particular money for the smallholder development. Besides, we also sourcing the money from the different donors like SDC, USAID, Bill Melinda Gates Foundations, Coca-Cola Foundations, HSBC Bank, SCB Bank, and then 2030 WRC. So many donors is providing us money, and they have their own business pathway to implement those. So it is not related with this Syngenta at all. When we are talking about the quality input, we are not saying anything about the Syngenta. We are saying about the group names sometimes, and we also say sometimes these are the company, not only the Syngenta, for example, the buyers, the Laltips or others companies names we mentioned there, that these are the good company, you can choose your product. We have a very small R&D centers where we trial the particular, for example, the seeds. So we trial the 5 companies seeds for that locality without labeling and invite the farmers or the farmers sub owners which one is better. So then they choose these things, and then we reveal the name of the company. Even from the Syngenta foundations, we promote different particular companies' products, which is very, very competitive with the Syngenta. So we don't bother it. And last point I want to mention that we are rebranding the Syngenta Foundation for Sustainable Agriculture recently. So we are coming up with a new brand, Sustainable Agriculture Foundations, with the same or similar mandate, similar missions, visions. So this will be effective from in Bangladesh maybe from September and globally from the 1st January of the 2025.
I think what we're hearing is independence. I'm also hearing the issue around how entrepreneurship is embedded in your whole project. Right from this micro entrepreneurs who run the Farmers Hub to larger entrepreneurs who run the network, who are running the network. And what Syngenta Foundation does in some ways is to help build the market linkages. It helps build the corporate partnerships. It helps build the training curriculum for all these entrepreneurs and gives it the international coverage to be able to take these models to other parts of the world. We are now going to get into the next part of the podcast where we're going to talk about how this has been applied to specific regions of Bangladesh.
Abdur, getting into specific regions, I'm very interested to know about your work in Rajshahi and Nagaon. In a previous podcast, we heard that paddy farmers are now converting their fields to mango orchards because of lack of water during the monsoon. And I'm interested to know your views on this. How does mango cultivation help, or does it make things worse? What is the trade-offs between growing rice versus mango, etc.?
Yes, so I could understand that you were talking about the bi-tract region of Bangladesh, particularly Rajshahi, Nauga, and Chapai-Nawabganj regions. If you see the statistics here, the 30% rainfall is less than the country average. So, and the water level is declining day by day. That's why the few lands are not being able to cultivate rice. Basically, the water service provider is particularly multi-purpose development authority, so they are the main water service providers. So they build the scheme. One scheme can cover in general 30 acres of land, but due to the water level declining, no scheme can cover this amount of area. It's now declining 20 to 25 acres of lands. The rest land, what they will do? So thus, this rice paddy land is converting into the mango land. And we have been working there since 2018 within the funding supports from Coca-Cola Foundations and 2030 WRG. Wow, one of our local partner is Dasco Foundations. Whereas we try to promote the ultra high density plantation of mango with deep irrigation, so it requires very less amount of waters, so you can save 70% of waters in mango orchard. Ultra high density plantations in traditionally 1 acre land in Bangladesh, people plant 40 to 60 mango sapling, whereas we are suggesting to plant 667 mango plantations. That is huge. These ultra high density plantations will increase their profitability 3x to 5x, also help in climate sense. It's directly mitigate the climate sense issues, like they are consuming the carbon dioxide, garden is consuming the carbon dioxide and releasing the oxygen, so it's a very good for the environment. And also we also try to promote the less irrigation systems, per dog, more crop, more incomes. That is our motto. So that is for the mango particularly. And for the paddy, we are trying to promote the alternate wetting and drying systems. You know, the AWD system. So it also saves 25% of waters than the traditional flood irrigation systems. And it also helps to reduce the methane emissions. Again, it's a climate issue. The AWD systems is very old and 20 years back technology. Everyone is talking about it and it is very good technology, but this adaptation rate is very low. So we worked on that part. So why this adaptation is not that much? We work on that part, and successfully our adaptation rate is 68% from our impact assessment result. We got it.
That's exactly the issue, right? Alternate wetting and drying, drip irrigation, none of these are new technologies. The issue is to convince farmers to adopt them. Where are the challenges and how do you overcome them?
For AWD, their challenge is different, and the mangoes, the challenge is different. So here we also introduce this farmer sub models. It's we say it's a vehicle for transferring this technology. So for mango, ultra high density plantations requires a very special kind of saplings. That saplings are being produced by these farmer sub owners, and he is also providing the knowledge to the farmers what to do and what not to do for the ultra high density plantations, because training and pruning is very crucial things for these ultra high density plantations. Otherwise you will plant the dense tree, and if you don't take care of this right way, then it will be bushy and it will not give you any fruits. It's very challenging. Our farmers hub is providing the high quality saplings with the knowledge, and they are also buyback these farmers produces, means after harvesting they are purchasing this mango and then they sell it to the others market through the network managers. One of our network managers in that regions, they are also processing this mango and making pulp, mango pulp and mango bars, so that they also can utilize it year-round business. Only technology destination will not work until or unless you give the revenue around it. We design the technology with a business model so that the farmers can take it and get benefit from it. This is how we are working for the mango. And for AWD, we designed the water pricing modeling systems. So earlier, or most of the cases, it doesn't work because of the pricing model of the water. If I can explain it a bit, if it is prefixed for particular land size, the water price will be, then it will not work. As much water as you use, if you pay for this, then less water use will be helpful for the farmers because of the less prices. In that perspective, so we work with these water service providers. So water service providers help us to promote it. Farmers Hub is helping us to promote the AWD pipes and disseminating the knowledge to the farmers.
Market mechanisms in water pricing.
Water pricing is one of the market mechanism. And second thing is that the scheme-wise demonstrations. Only one farmers adopt in a scheme, water schemes, then it will not work. You need to work with the whole schemes, need to adopt this technology. So that's why we work with this water service provider that your scheme should use this AWD. So it will help you to reduce the waters and you can expand your area 20 bigger more because of less water use for this AWD.
Are you also tracking the water table in these areas? What is your sense of the long-term sustainability in terms of water?
It is not our task to tracking this water table, but BMDA, they track it, and other organizations, they are tracking this water table. But our focus is to use less water for growing more crop. And recently we are planning to incentivize the farmers with this carbon credit, particularly for mango. Already we have registered in Bhera platform for carbon credit, and the first audit has completed in 27 June. So we are hoping to get that carbon credit incentives by end of this year. So it will give this extra advantage to the farmers. Similarly, we are trying to register the farmers for AWD. If we can manage this carbon credit value for these farmers, then farmers will get the extra incentives for using the AWD. It will help to scale.
We know that you're also working in the tribal areas and other geographies in the area of vegetable cultivation. It'll be great to hear more about that.
We are very focused on smallholder farmers. So smallholder farmers, their land size is very small. Vegetable is the one crops which give them the high return than any other crops. So that's why we try to promote these vegetables, and the farmers have provide the high quality saplings to grow these vegetables. Its mortality rate is 0 from the farmers have owners. And for particularly tribal community, Sawtal community, so they are mostly landless. We try to help them to lease land together, and then we try to build a net house for them, and then grow the safe vegetable and channel it to the high-end markets. Landless Sawtal community, they lease the land with the support of Syngenta Foundations, and then they grow the safe vegetable in the net house, and then they sell it to the high-end market. Is very unique for them, and they earn a significant amount of money to reinvest this amount after consuming their own family.
Can you tell us what these net houses are?
Oh, so net house is that protect the vegetables from the insects. We make a house-like shape, something like with the net, so any insect cannot go into that field, and they don't need to use pesticides there. It's a very easiest way to produce the safe vegetable. Thus, we are trying to bring this Sawtal community out of poverty, and we also have some few others works for the Sawtal community. One is that medicinal plant plantations in roadside. They are planting the medicinal plant like bashok in roadside, and they harvest it and sell it to the pharmaceutical company like Acme Square, so they can earn money without any investment, only the sapling plantation is their investment. Vegetables, we are also trying to support different startup in Dhaka who are trying to source the safe vegetables. So we connect them with safe vegetable grower and then they channel their product to Dhaka markets. And besides, the wholesale market is always open to sell their vegetables. Only for this seedling, it has increased around 25% yield increases and 34% income increases of these farmers.
Connecting startups to fresh vegetable growers, it is very interesting. I think the main issue is that how do you prevent wastage of fresh vegetables in the supply chain?
Yes, it's a really concern issue, and the wastage is not in one places, so there are multiple places where the wastage starts. What we did, in Farmers Hub, we have a very specific washing chamber, grading and sorting chambers, and we teach them how to package this vegetable so that it at least reduce few losses during the transportations. However, due to bad transportations, road conditions, and the transportation modality like truck, bus, different type of modality they use, there are some losses. But we feel that less handling of the product will reduce the post-harvest losses. In our cases, Farmers Hub, then it directly goes to the distance market. So we try to promote as much as less handling with the better packagings. So that help us to reduce the post-harvest losses.
We've come to the end of the podcast, Abdur. I'm going to ask you just one quick question, which is about the carbon credits. Does the AWD technology, alternative way and drying, and the drip irrigation using ultra high density mangoes, do they also increase soil organic carbon?
Yes, for ultra high density mango, it's definitely increase the soil organic carbon, but for particularly rice, we need to add few things more like biochars, and if we can use the deep placement of urea, then it will help to reduce the methane emissions, and biochar will help to increase the organic carbon for the rice. Definitely regenerative practice is good and that need to be promoted. However, we also need to consider the farmers' profitability and that need to be close to the farmers' traditional practices. Comparatively, agroforestry increase the number of plant in a single land. For mango, it is very easiest and to get the carbon credit and comparatively less effort it requires. However, for getting the carbon credit from the rice and AWD, it requires the MRV. Digital MRV is good, monitoring, verification, reporting. So this MRV is not that much easy for the AWD because it is only 3-month crop and you need to prove that they really create carbon credit, they really reduce this methane emissions, and this practice will continue the farmers for next season. So it is not the easiest way to prove it to the carbon credit market. But there are few methodologies there, gold standard, verified carbon standards. There are several methodologies there. We are exploring this methodology which is fit for the rice, and definitely we'll find out a way for the smallholder farmers to get carbon credit money and improve this practice.
And if people want to get in touch with you, how should they?
Get in touch me by emails or my WhatsApp number.
And we will have them in the show notes. Feel free to get in touch with Abdur. With that, thank you very much, Abdur.
Thank you so much, Abdur. It was really very, very interesting to talk to you and find out more about your work.
Thank you very much.
If you like this podcast, do visit us on regainparadise.org, regainparadise.com. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and you can also subscribe to these podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Apple, and YouTube.